has the first 5 years been? It was quite interesting being the first time living as a couple. Is it a bit challenging knowing each other and staying together for the first 5 years? Quite a lot of things to learn from each other, from raising kids to moving from one apartment to another apartment to accommodating in-laws, friends, and families. The first 5 years was quite interesting, except if she has something else to add to that.
Well, the first 5 years is always a time to learn, for the fact that we are not being raised from the same background. There will be issue. You will bend. He has to bend some of his own rule. I have to bend some of my own rule. Even to the level of how do we use toothpaste? All those things, little things. Those are the things. First 5 years is always a bit challenging, but when you bend a little and he bends a little, things will start getting better.
I also think first 5 years has to do with the time of trying to accommodate each other's differences and things that are a bit different from different backgrounds. The first 5 years seems to be more of the learning part to understand each other's character, each other's view to different things in life generally.
How did we meet? In my workplace, he works with the maintenance company that maintain our systems in my office, and he comes around. He's the one that they always send out to do the maintenance of our system, ICT, because I work in a school as an accountant. So we do a normal clients to service giver, and we became friends. I'm a kind of quiet person, but I think he talks a bit, so he was the one that, I remember that I was eating in my office, and so he said, "Oh, can I have out of what you are eating?" I said, "Okay, fine, you can take out of it," and I think that was the way we met, and we became friends. From there, the story continues.
Yes, that is quite true. I worked with an IT firm then, and the place she was working in, which is the school, I was in charge of setting up their system, putting up some couple of other things in the IT department. And most of the time when I finish the job, at the end of the day, I'm meant to come and face the accountant, which she is, just to collect the money. I was quite taxing. And part of the things I learned from my job is that, look, this customer relationship, you just have to be close with them, try to interact with them. But something was quite interesting there, but how was that the interaction seems to actually went a bit further. And it was quite an interesting friendship then, because it was after we became close, it was then easier for me to interact and collect the company's money that, look, we have finished our job and we need to be paid. And I felt that, look, you just need to get a bit closer so you'll be able to soften our mind to collect your money. And that was what actually did happen, and which made it easier for us to start a relationship. Then we started from being friends for some couple of period of time. Then from there, I took it a step ahead. My first impression about her, apart from she's beautiful, inside out at the same time, she's quite intelligent, and she's the quiet kind of a person that all what you just have to do is try to interact, and interacting with an intelligent person actually will take you to some extent of getting to know the person better. She's intelligent, she's smart, she's beautiful. Those were the first impression I actually had of her. And from there, I wasn't wrong with my impression.
My first impression about him is jovial. He plays a lot. Then he's intelligent. Then he takes his work very, how will I say it? He works with all his might. Then he's the kind of person that you think he can provide solutions to most of the things you want. He's a working map, dictionary, whatever you want to find out, you get the answer from him. And then whatever you ask him, he's always ready to answer you. Then another thing that interests me about him is I learned that at that time, he was the one working, he was working and he was sponsoring himself in school. So those are the things that makes me know that, a man that though the parents are still alive, then he still took it upon himself to work and at the same time still going to school. So those are the things that give me a good impression about him. How has having children affected our sex life? Well, the kind of person I am, I got married as a virgin. So even having sex for the second year wasn't too cool, you know. I don't really know, maybe because I don't know much about it. I don't really enjoy it. Well, after children, I think I'm getting to know more. It hasn't really affected it negatively. It's just maybe some tiredness sometimes after taking care of the children, but it hasn't really affected it negatively.
I would say there have been no negative impact on it really. Children are actually a blessing from God, and in this part of the world, if you are married, the next thing people expect you to do is have kids. So definitely, if you're going to be having kids, then you should be ready to have responsibility. And as the man of the house, the responsibility of children, of the family as a whole, just have to be taken upon myself. So there has never been any negative part to it, really. It has been more of a positive part, really. How did I find out our ring size? When we were dating, from there we got, it was after a period of time I proposed to her. The proposal wasn't on a big level kind of a thing, but after then we made it easier just to get the ring. Just had to go somewhere and size up different rings that I can actually fit into her finger. So it wasn't really something that was hidden or private. I just had to take her along to let her know, look, this is my mind, this is what I actually have on mind. And we went to a store, pick up a ring from there, and that was it.
The biggest challenge we faced so far in marriage was when we got married, and it was going to almost a year, and I was not pregnant. So it became a thing of concern to me, because I was thinking, as soon as I get married, there's this notion at the back of my mind that if you're a virgin, if you got married as a virgin, you will be pregnant immediately. But it wasn't so. I was a bit down. I was almost telling God that what happened after I've kept myself. But he didn't actually disturb me about it. He didn't say anything. Even if whenever I tell him about it, he would just tell me, well, forget about this thing. How long have we gotten married that you're stressing yourself like that? But we give God all the glory. When it was time, God did it. I think God gave us a revelation that we should pray together in a certain way. And that particular month, God did it.
What has been the biggest challenge in our marriage? I would say this first, that there's actually no marriage without challenges, but it does depend on how both of it gets to handle it. Just like rightly what she actually did said earlier, that the biggest challenge was actually getting pregnant. She was quite disturbed, and really I myself was disturbed, but as the man of the house, I wasn't making that obvious. So I just have to be consoling her and let her know that, look, everything is in good hands. It was quite a difficult period of time, but it was just within a 1 year period, but it wasn't that easy really. It was really a really tough period of time then, because it got different form of advices, different form of consultations, but when it was the right time, God actually did it. Our wedding day, right? Yes. Before the wedding day, a week to the wedding day precisely, so a couple of my friends organized a bachelor's party for me. And interestingly, bachelor's party doesn't actually involve the bride-to-be to be at the party. But my wife was at the party, which was quite interesting. And only a couple of them actually knew that she was the bride-to-be, and she made the party so strict that everybody just have to adhere to all the old rules and regulations before the wedding day. Then the wedding day, since our parents are not in Lagos, the wedding actually took place in Ekiti State, and I had quite a lot of people that actually traveled with me. Some people went a day before me. They were there at the venue. We had the engagement first on Friday. The engagement first came up on Friday. And on the engagement day, quite an interesting thing. A typical Yoruba wedding, the bride and the groom comes in with his friends. But unfortunately, my set of friends that were supposed to dance along with me were not yet in Ekiti. In fact, they were just a couple of minutes to get to Ekiti, and they were in a kind of traffic. Along the line, I just had to find a way to delay. Unfortunately, they got there exactly when I was about to come in. And it was quite an interesting atmosphere, because, a typical Yoruba wedding, you have the groom family coming first, then the groom comes in with his friends. The aspect of you prostrating, greeting each family member, doing different kind of activities, it made it quite interesting. Then we rounded it up that day with some couple of music, and there to the wedding day. The wedding day was the next day, still in Ekiti, but not too far away from where we had the engagement. On the wedding day, we had quite a number of people in the house. Because a friend of mine actually accommodated all of us then. And we had quite some interesting atmosphere. That day, I got to the church quite very, very early. In fact, I was one of the first set of people that was in the church, and we're in the church about 30 minutes still waiting before the actual commencement of the wedding day. And exactly some few minutes after 10, the officiating minister called me and said, look, this is an Anglican church. We have to start exactly 10 o'clock. If we don't see your bride, we'll continue with it. I said, okay, sir, no problem, go ahead. Then, while we were about starting, some few minutes after the man started the whole thing, she came in, she was actually rushing in. Her father brought her in, she was looking so beautiful in a white gown. So her father brought her in then, and it was quite interesting. Another aspect of the wedding day was when, throughout the sermon, I was jotting. And the minister just had to look at me and said, this one you're jotting everything. I'm impressed with you, Mr. Man. That is good. For you to be jotting down everything I've been saying. I said, yes, thank you, sir, no problem. He said, yes, but don't just jot it for today's purpose. Make sure you're always going through everything you have written down. They say, yeah, very well, sir. Then after the wedding, we had the engagement and the entertainment. The entertainment was not too far from the church premises. And we stepped in, danced. It was quite an interesting day. A lot of details that cannot actually be explained. Details from after the wedding to where we went to next. Do you have any other thing else to add?
Well, you said almost everything. It was a good day. No stress. It was perfect. The part I loved most was when the choristers from my former church came in and they handed over the mic to me because I sing. So I sang on my wedding day with the choristers. I so enjoyed it. And every day, whenever I see that picture, I always appreciate it. Yeah.
Who's the first person you thought you would be married?
Well, there was one man that we were actually having short relationship. Well, it didn't work out because, number one, I think he's AS and me, I'm AS. So then there are a lot of differences which couldn't make us to get married. I'm not sure I'll be permitted to say the name. How has marriage changed you?
Marriage, how has it changed me? Interestingly, I got married to an accountant. That is number one part. It has changed me in the sense of my finances, streamlining my finances, relationship with people. That is quite interesting because once you are married in this part of the world, there's this status that is a bit attached to it, that status of being quite a responsible person. So marriage has actually changed me positively in every aspect of my life. If you found out I went to jail, what would you think I went for?
To visit someone.
Who?
maybe you went there for evangelism. That's it. What are my 3 best qualities?
3 best qualities. First of all, intelligence, smart, and let me also say God-fearing. Yes, that should be your 3 best qualities. What can I do for you to divorce me?
I think the only thing that you can do to make me divorce you, it's even the one that the Bible says on that account you can divorce, which is adultery. I think that's the only thing, because the trust will not be there again. I won't be able to go on. If there's no trust in marriage, it's no more marriage. It's just people living together as flatmates. Adultery might make me divorce you. If I can say another one, it's if you start abusing me physically, I can step out. I may not divorce. I can step aside for some time. Then if you come back, because it's abnormal, it's a kind of psychiatric problem for a man to be beating the wife. So maybe if you now get yourself, then we can come together again. Can you stay off sex with me for $2 million for 2 years?
That's quite an interesting question. Off sex for 3 years for $2 million. I know. I don't think any amount can actually value that. So definitely I won't take the $2 million. What is the biggest lie you have ever told me?
I don't want to say too much because I don't tell lie. Even my children knows it. I will tell them, you know, I ate lies. They almost told me to Wilberforce. So, I don't think so. I don't think so. I can't even think it. I'm straightforward. Would you quit your job to save our marriage?
That's quite interesting. Interestingly, I'm actually on my own. If for the fact that it's going to be the quitting of my job is going to save the marriage, then definitely I just have to quit, because I know I can actually work out some other ways to survive. So if it's to quit because of my job to save the marriage, yes, I'll go ahead to do that. If Wedding Channel Africa sponsored your honeymoon, where would you go?
Maybe Dubai.
Your turn now.
If you had to save someone, me or the kids, who would you save?
This question is totally unfair. Because God knows very much that I cherish my family, which includes my wife and my children. If there's another alternative that I have to live my life out, then I have to choose that option. But I value my wife and my kids. So there should be no option for that.
So my husband, IBIYEMI Adefinroye, I love you. As I always call you my sweet. I have never regretted I married you, and I will always love you.
This year will make it 10 years that we got married, and I just want my wife to know this, that I've cherished every moment that we have spent together from the day we got married, with the kids, with our kids. It has just been a very interesting journey. And I pray that we actually move more years in this journey in life. I appreciate every form of your being able to tolerate my negative parts, your being able to take care of the family, make the house a home. I cherish every moment I've actually spent with you, and the more of the years I'll be spending with you, because my prayer is always going to be more blissful years with us together. And this is just for you to also know one thing, that I love you from the bottom of my heart and forevermore.